welcome to the FanDuel Punch-Out. I am your host, Josh Shepardson. You may also know me as @BChad50 from Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, while you're on there, make sure if you are not already that you follow dailyfantasycafe.com, where we post as @DFCafe. And I'm not going to waste any more time plugging anything. It's a loaded slate here tonight, unusual for a Saturday. We've got 9 games. We've got some top pitchers on the hill. We've got some decent ballparks to look at for some hitters and some good bargains at hitter as well. So a lot of options tonight, not something we're used to on a Saturday. Usually we get some scraps, and lately it feels like all the good pitchers are pitching in the early games, in the afternoon games. But we're going to get some top options tonight, starting at the top with $11,000 Corey Kluber. He is the top dog tonight. He is the best cash games option. I will not be straying from him in cash games. He has the highest ceiling and arguably the highest floor as well. In cash games, you're seeking that high floor, but Kluber brings the high ceiling to the table as well. He checks in as the second biggest betting favor. He's going to be jostling back and forth with John Lackey for that honor, probably right up until first pitch. Checks in with the lowest betting total, second lowest betting total for a game on the night. But Kluber, basically, if you're looking at the advanced stats for the guys getting the ball today, he checks in and checks all the boxes. He leads the way in every meaningful category: strikeout rate, strikeout minus walk percentage, FIP, xFIP, you name it. He leads the way. He's facing a Rays squad that did give Carlos Carrasco a little bit of trouble last night, tallied some hits on him, but still managed to not score a whole bunch of runs against him. And Kluber, superior pitcher to Carrasco. I do like Carrasco a lot, but Kluber, better option and really worth every penny. The Rays do punch out at a fairly high rate, so definitely go ahead and start your cash games teams with Kluber. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's get on to some of the other GPP names. At $9,800, Dallas Keuchel faces a Mariners squad that a number of their best hitters are left-handed. We're talking Kyle Seager. We're talking Robinson Cano, obviously not playing like the superstar this year, but you still have to figure that he's going to round into form at some point. Both lefties, both better against righties than lefties. Keuchel does a great job of keeping the ball on the ground. He's at pitcher-friendly Safeco Field tonight. And low betting total, slight favorite as road favorite. Like him as a nice spin-off from Kluber. Doesn't have the strikeout upside that Kluber does, but he is facing a Mariners squad that isn't exactly great at putting the ball in play against left-handers. Do strike out around 20% of the time they face a lefty. So not a bad option if you're looking to save a little bit of money and go against the grain there. I'm looking at $8,900 John Lackey, though, in GPPs. Faces a really bad Phillies offense. Their bullpen has been getting taxed because their starting pitching has been getting rocked. He goes to Citizens Bank Park. He is actually the biggest betting favorite of the evening. I like him a lot to pick up the W, facing the worst team in baseball against right-handed pitching. So feel pretty good about using John Lackey in place of Corey Kluber in GPPs if you're looking to load up on bats. Gonna save $2,200. Gonna be getting a lower owned option because Kluber is far and away the best option. Noah Syndergaard, $8,300. Like him in GPPs, don't love him. Like the price tag quite a bit. Backed by a Mets offense that just is bad against right-handed pitching. They get another one today in Williams Perez. Low betting total. Syndergaard only a small betting favorite, and that's a result of the bad offense backing him. Really great strikeout stuff, but he's facing a Braves squad that does not like to strike out a ton. So there's some good and some bad here, but at $8,300, you can certainly get some shares of him and some GPPs. I wouldn't go overboard. I think he's going to be a slightly over-owned option because he's just got such electric stuff, big strikeout rate. But if you fail to recognize that the Braves just don't punch out that much against righties, you're going to probably end up just a little bit disappointed with that final line. If you are looking to chase some strikeout upside, though, Taijuan Walker against the Houston Astros makes for an interesting case. Walker's been pitching very well of late. Control's been there. Houston Astros team, basically the most prolific in baseball in terms of strikeout rate on the whole. They strike out quite a bit against righties and lefties alike. Very right-handed dominant lineup. And So that's going to make them prone to some struggles against a guy like Walker if his power stuff is playing. Very good pitcher. Nobody strikes out more against righties than the Astros do. So high ceiling there. Small underdog. He is opposing Dallas Keuchel, but low betting total for that game. So odds makers like both pitchers to keep the offenses in check there. I do like Taijuan Walker as a nice GPP play. And then one more option I'm going to throw out there in GPPs. Don't love him, but I will fire a bullet or two with him. Anthony DeSclafani has really had an up-and-down season. Kicked the door in to start the year, struggled a lot in May, has bounced back in June, piling up some innings. His strikeouts are either they're there at about one per inning clip, or they're literally not there at all. He had back-to-back starts where he struck out literally just one batter in those two starts combined. Hope that he's getting those punch-outs. He's facing a Miami Marlins offense that is bad against right-handed pitching, and he is a home betting favorite opposing Tom Kohler. Big betting total on that game, but DeSclafani has done a good job of closing the gap on his platoon split. Has really fared much better against lefties than he did early in the season. So I do like him as a value GPP option. Turning our attention to catcher, Buster Posey coming off of a great night in which he hit a grand slam, stole a base. He gets another poor right-handed pitcher from the Dodgers. Certainly in play, but $3,500. Don't like the price tag. Don't love the price tag. But again, he's out of AT&T Park. He's playing at Dodger Stadium. Better home run ballpark factors for lefties and righties alike. Obviously, Posey a righty. I think there are some other options, especially if you're using Kluber. I wouldn't necessarily spend heavily on catcher because I think that my favorite play, Derek Norris, $500 cheaper, gets Robbie Ray, a lefty, at Chase Field. Great ballpark factors, crushes lefties. Robbie Ray pitching very well, but the peripheral stats don't quite line up with his obscene ERA on the year of just 1.09, 3.30 FIP, 4.36 xFIP. So he's had some good fortune on some batted balls and on fly balls. I like Derek Norris. He's my favorite play. Assuming Victor Martinez doesn't get a day of rest, he did just play in his first game back from the disabled list. He looks good against the recently roughed-up Nathan Eovaldi. Going to get to hit left-handed against him as a switch hitter. So I like Martinez as well at $3,100. $2,900 Yasmani Grandal looks good if he's in the lineup against Tim Hudson. So again, three options that are significantly cheaper than Posey. I think you can definitely save there. You'd also go back to Citizens Bank Park and grab Yadier Molina at $2,600. Surprisingly, he reached the seats last night. Hasn't displayed a lot of power this year, but he is at a ballpark that enhances power quite a bit. So in play, don't love him, but decent lineup spot. And again, far cheaper than the top options at the position. Let's move on to first base, though. I'm starting my search for a first baseman is going to be with Joey Votto at $4,000. Goldschmidt, very good, but he's getting a tough righty in Tyson Ross. Just don't see the value in spending $5,600 on him. Miguel Cabrera, you could certainly spend $5,400 against Nathan Eovaldi at Yankee Stadium, but I just think at $1,400 less, Joey Votto, much better bargain at home, great ballpark for hitting home runs in. Facing Tom Kohler, not exactly the scariest of right-handed pitchers, and he's managed to seed a 313 WOBA to left-handed batter since 2012, so definitely not a guy that's going to scare you off of Joey Votto. Also looking at Lucas Duda against Williams Perez at $3,300, but it's a couple cheaper options that I like more than Duda. Brandon Belt goes back to Dodger Stadium. Again, another Giant getting a break from AT&T Park, and a left-handed one at that, which is notable because Carlos Frias is bad against left-handed batters, allowing a 375 WOBA to the 168 that he's faced in his big league time. So I like Belt a lot at $3,100. $3,000 Eric Hosmer, kind of in a similar boat, facing another right-handed pitcher that struggles mightily with lefties. Rick Porcello seating a 348 WOBA to left-handed batter since 2012. So get yourself some shares of Hosmer, get yourself some shares of Belt. $3,100 and $3,000. Very affordable options to go with Corey Kluber if you're looking for that. Same ballpark, opposite team. Adrian Gonzalez opposing the Giants. Gets to face Tim Hudson. Tim Hudson, not exactly what he once was. Still doing a decent job. 310 wOBA allowed to left-handed batter since 2012 isn't exactly terrible, but we're talking about an older pitcher. We're talking about a left-handed batter that crushes right-handed pitching, so certainly some merit to using Adrian Gonzalez in his home digs. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, we're going to get another guy that hits left-handed against Rick Porcello, and that's switch hitter Kendrys Morales, $2,500. Going to be looking for some salary relief for Corey Kluber owners, and he certainly provides that. Second base, not going to spend for the big ticket items. D. Gordon, $3,200 is the first biggest ticket item that I'm looking at. Stolen base upside, as I said, Desclafini has closed the gap on his platoon split, so not exactly giving away hits at a prolific rate to lefties anymore, but Gordon puts the ball in play at a very high rate, and that's good for a speedster like him. If he gets on, stolen base upside, obviously. Joe Panic, a little bit lower ceiling, but making a lot of contact. Another guy that can give you left-handed batter exposure to Carlos Frias. He'll be doing it from a good lineup spot, hitting second for the Giants. And again, another guy getting a break from AT&T Park. But I'm looking a little bit cheaper, and he's going to be a popular name again tonight. Very popular last night. Reached the seats last night, so expect ownership to remain high. That's Colton Wong facing Aaron Harang. Getting that lefty-righty matchup that you like as the left-handed batter facing the right-handed pitcher. Not really going to look too much below that, but if you are going on a power chase, you could turn to Derek Dietrich, just $2,300, very reasonable punt option. Great ballpark factors for home runs at Great American Ballpark. So if you want to chase a home run, really trying to figure out where to squeeze cash, really like to spend up elsewhere, $2,300 number 2 hitter Derek Dietrich certainly in play. At third base, I'm looking at Matt Carpenter, $3,400, feels like a steal against Aaron Harang. Again, that Phillies bullpen has been worn out. So if Aaron Harang doesn't have it, he's going to be fed to the Wolves, and that means more runs scored for the Cardinals. Hung a big number last night. I expect him to hang a big number again tonight. Carpenter hitting in 2-hole. Good guy to hook with Colton Wong. Get that middle and left side of the infield with Wong. And Carpenter, maybe grab the man in between Johnny Peralta. We'll get to him, though, in a second. Looking a little bit deeper, you can grab Maikel Franco if you want to pick on John Lackey a little bit. Lackey should be a popular name in GPPs because he's a big betting favorite. So if you want to make something of a contrarian pick, Franco's been very good at the big league level. I can certainly understand that play. Mike Moustakas, $2,800, 2-hole hitter. Another guy that's a lefty facing Rick Porcello, so you're going to get that platoon advantage. Pablo Sandoval is on some kind of tear recently. Instagram photos aside, we get him against Edinson Volquez, faring much better against righties than lefties. A former switch hitter, maybe still switch hitter. I'm not sure if he's officially given that up. Much better against right-handed pitching. So $2,700, decent option. And once again, if you're looking to save some salary to fit Corey Kluber, you can do a heck of a lot worse than Chase Headley at Yankee Stadium. Switch hitter gets Alfredo Simon, or Simon, I believe it is these days. The switch hitter is going to get the bat left-handed against Simon. Short right field porch, got to like that. Hitting in the 2-hole right behind red hot Brett Gardner, right in front of Mr. 3000, Alex Rodriguez, like Chase Headley at $2,400. Shortstop, some of the early games going to take some of the starch out of the position. No Troy Tulowitzki because the Coors game is an afternoon game. Carlos Correa, a little bit pricey for a matchup with Taijuan Walker. $4,100. Don't like Safeco Field. Not a huge fan of using Correa. I am, however, a fan of going back to Johnny Peralta. $3,400. As you can tell, I really like the Cardinals tonight against Aaron Harang. Really like them at Citizens Bank Park. Brandon Crawford, lefty against Carlos Frias. You get the idea. Very exploitable wOBA for Frias. Get some exposure to Crawford if you're looking for another lefty. Maybe go giant stack or mini stack. Wilmer Flores at $2,700 against Williams Perez. Not a bad option. Righty-righty. You prefer it's righty-lefty, but Flores is hitting for power this year. Cheap power at a position that's really lacking on offensive upside. Certainly advisable in GPPs, grabbing a guy like that. Alcides Escobar, righty-righty, don't love the matchup with Porcello, but if the Kansas City Royals, who do a good job of putting the ball in play and racking up hits against righties, get it going, their leadoff hitter is probably going to have a hand in that. Can certainly play him at $2,600. Does have some stolen base upside. Xander Bogaerts, finding himself as a fixture in the middle of the Red Sox order these days, just $2,500. Another decent option with a good lineup spot. In the punting category, we've got Francisco Lindor, who is regularly batting second for the Cleveland Indians. Don't love him, but Erasmo Ramirez isn't exactly the most imposing matchup. So, again, if you're looking for a punt based on lineup spot, maybe some offensive potential, it is a right-hander facing the Indians, and we know the Indians are a very lefty-laden lineup. So Lindor certainly in play. In the outfield, if you're not spending on Corey Kluber, Giancarlo Stanton makes for a good play at Great American Ballpark. Certainly a much different venue than his home park in Miami. Great home run venue, Giancarlo Stanton, great home run power. You do the math. Looking down a little bit below him, Brett Gardner is on fire. He's at home. He's facing Alfredo Simon. Left-handed batter, short porch in right field. Reached the seats last night. Gardy planted one last night. Also showing off the wheels again this year. Nice power-speed combination. Leadoff spot for a Yankee squad that can beat up on right-handed pitching quite a bit. $3,600 Jack Peterson also in play against Tim Hudson. Hitting second now with Yasiel Puig hitting leadoff, I believe, last night. Michael Brantley, $3,600 feels like a gross underpay for a guy who just does it all. Puts the ball in play, works walks, racks up batting average, can hit for a little bit of power, can steal some bases. Love him in cash games. Like him in GPPs too because he can do a little bit of everything. Justin Upton, one of my favorite plays tonight. $3,400 against a left-handed pitcher. Upton does nothing but mash left-handed pitching. Is at Chase Field tonight, so he gets a nice ballpark boost. So go ahead and get yourself a lot of Justin Upton tonight. Jay Bruce, really getting locked in. Always has done his best work against righties at Great American Ballpark. He's certainly in play at $3,300. If you're looking for a contrarian GPP pick and wanted a depressed price, Nelson Cruz, $3,100 against lefty Dallas Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel, one of the best pitchers in the league so far this year. Actually, over the last year plus, was very good last year as well. Does a good job of keeping the ball on the ground, but Nelson Cruz's power is prodigious, and he is at his best against lefties. So don't be afraid to throw him in a few GPP rosters, chase some power, and get a guy that's probably going to be lower owned than he deserves to be because he is facing Dallas Keuchel. Andre Ethier at $2,900 and Lorenzo Cain at $2,900. Both look good at that price point. Looking a little bit deeper, $2,800 Matt Kemp really struggled last night, but DFS, you got to have a short memory. Matt Kemp was heating up prior to that. Also has a track record of beating up on left-handed pitching. Robbie Ray, don't be fooled by the ERA. Been pitching well, but we're not talking about a world beater. Doesn't strike out a lot of batters. So I do like Matt Kemp. If you're looking for a guy that may be under-owned just because of recency bias, guys don't like paying up in DFS for players that scorned them the night before. Heaven forbid a guy have an off day in a game where failure is the norm. And then in the bargain bin, there's not a lot. $2,200, Angel Pagan is looking like the best bargain to me. Again, I like the Giants against Frias tonight. He's going to get the bat left-handed as a switch hitter facing Frias. So good lineup spot hitting third and good platoon advantage over Frias. So that's going to wrap things up for the FanDuel Punch-Out. Get some of these guys in your lineups, make some money, and check out all the great content at dailyfantasycafe.com. And follow us on Twitter where we post the links to this great content, as well as our lineup optimizer, Colossus, and the cheat sheets. A lot of good things going on here at dailyfantasycafe.com. We're looking to help make you money like we are. So take care and good luck tonight.